What happens when your former boss threatens your paycheck and you decide that's the last time someone holds power over your income? In this episode, we're talking with Taylor Miller about the gritty, no excuses journey from single mom to co-founder of Miller Storm. You'll learn how she built a roofing company rooted in communication, culture, and second chances, despite having zero plans to ever start a roofing company. Taylor is the co-owner of Miller Storm Roofing in Texas. She built the business alongside her husband, Jay, during one of the most chaotic years in modern history, 2020. From chasing down invoices to systematizing everything through automations and SOPs, Taylor has become a force in operations and leadership. Taylor's story is one of resilience, from a rocky family background to helping create six-figure careers for her team. Her evolution from leading with an iron fist to developing compassionate, efficient management systems is one every entrepreneur needs to hear. If you're navigating growth, team drama, or the chaos of operational bottlenecks, this episode gives you a real-life playbook on how to lead with strength, structure, and heart. Let's dive in with Taylor Miller of Miller Storm Roofing. Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. Taylor Miller, Miller Storm, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I had a great visit to your office about a month ago.
That was
fantastic, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of people. A lot of people.
Yeah, we had a great RSRA event down there. Adam introduced the marketing control system to the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance members. Fantastic content. Thank you for being fantastic hosts. You guys have a great, man, you guys have built something really special down there.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Well, for people who maybe didn't, I think in our first episode you were on with Jay, with your husband Jay Miller, and he's a talker, so he probably did more of the talking.
Yeah, that's him.
But we know who runs the show, so we wanted to have Taylor on to make sure we got the what really happens at Miller Storm.
Yeah. Wow. I listened to that podcast probably like a year ago, and I was like, what idiots. Looking back, right? Like you think you know a lot, and then you fast forward, and then I'm looking back now, like hindsight being 2020. I'm like, man, we've learned and grown so much from that, So
I love it. That's one of my favorite things about business is, like, to me, if you're not embarrassed about where your company was and who you were, like, I think about it like, if you don't think like, why did someone buy from us? Like, how could someone even buy from us back then? You're not iterating, you're not improving, right? You're not going through the process. So you guys have done a lot of that. So let's talk a little bit about Taylor and how you got into the roofing business. How did you become the behind the scenes killer at Miller Storm?
So funny story. Well, it's kind of a long story, so I'll give you tidbits. But so I was a single mom. I was living in Round Rock, Austin, Texas with my son, and my mom was like, hey, you should really come up here and get in a roofing with me. I just bought my house, just bought a Lamborghini. I'm doing really well. She started off at a roofing company, and she was a door knocker, worked her way up to a sales rep, sales manager, and then eventually to a partnership. So she was really in from the ground level and worked her way all the way up. It was a true success story. And so she really inspired me. She, had no degree, a pretty tarnished background, a lot of turmoil in her background. That's a completely different story, but she was out of my life for 15 years and incarcerated, drug background and all that. So for me to firsthand witness my mom get out of prison and literally turn her life around from homeless to, millionaire with a $500,000 house, a Lamborghini, and a office in a skyrise building in Dallas was super inspiring, especially for me because I never grew up with my mom. I went to college because I was trying to make a different way of life because I grew up with my dad being a single father and living paycheck to paycheck with 5 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. So I was eager to break that cycle. I didn't know how. And so going to college was like, the obvious thing, I guess, to figure out. I mean, everyone gets hired with a degree, like that's the brainwash. Like go to college and it's going to be so easy finding a good way, a good paying job. And it's going to be so easy if you go to college and work your butt off in college and then you'll find your dream job and make good money and all that. Right. So it was really inspiring to see someone that, really lost everything. My mom and my dad owned a business and she lost all to drugs, lost her kids due to drugs, went to prison and then got out and rebuilt everything from scratch and made up for a lot of lost time by making better choices and working her butt off. So that's how I got in roofing was my mom. And
that really speaks to the opportunity in roofing. Like it is a second chance industry like no other, right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
So that's how I ended up meeting Jay was at her company.
Okay.
Which was a big no-no. But, so some people might ask, like, okay, so if your mom started her roofing company, why are you still not with her? Why are you still not working there? That would probably be like the next question. Sad story, but she relapsed again and lost everything again. Really, really sad to see someone fall from such, a high state to, starting over again. So when she relapsed and, left that company, me and Jay went and worked for a couple other companies, some mom and pop startups, and it just wasn't it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same culture. So after all that happened with her, we were like, you know what? We went to 2 other companies, helped those startups, like systems, processes, hiring, recruiting, all of that. Just, me and Jay broke up for a little bit in 2020. And that guy thought Jay was going to go start his own company. When we got back together, he automatically assumed that we were going to go start our own company, which is kind of weird because we never thought about that. That wasn't, we were like wearing all the hats and doing all the paperwork. That sounded like a lot of work for us. Like it was not attractive. And so, one day he called Jay and was threatening Jay's commissions. And I was like, how dare him? Like, you're going to sit here and threaten to take away his commissions if we're starting our own. I was like, first of all, we never had any interest in that. Like, and I was like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, he shouldn't have that type of power over us, especially since everything we've done to help build his company. There's no reason why we would go do that. And for him to say that and then threaten it with commissions, we were like, what? And this was during 2020,
Yeah.
It was already already a super unstable year as it was. And I was like, for you to sit here and try to threaten, Jay's commissions was like a big turnoff. Like, I was like, all right, well, I'm done with this company. I was like,
that's a culture killer right there, right? Like but it's all the horror stories that you hear, right, in the roofing industry. And there's such a lot of owners have a hard time with, people on their team that find success and that worry about them going and starting other companies and competing with them, along with the other 10,000 companies in Dallas. So it would make a big difference if you guys went, like, it's crazy to me. Like there's no, but so, okay. So all of a sudden it's like, this doesn't feel right anymore. Mm-hmm. Like now it's time, I guess we have to start our own company. So we make sure that we get our checks or what,
Yeah. Yeah, like, you're now if you're accusing me of doing something I'm not doing, and the first thing you
Yeah.
do is threaten my commissions. It was just a super cold call. It was like a super like harsh call. I feel like we didn't do anything to earn that call or earn that threat. He told him like, hey, because we worked for 2 months, got our own places, and then we were like, all right, we're gonna make it work. We got to now consolidate back all our stuff, move back
Yep.
in, and all that. And he told him and was completely transparent. And when that happened, it was like that was super unwarranted. That was unnecessary. So we were
Yeah.
like, let's just instead of building this up, because now it feels like we're building this on sand again, right? Like it's the trust isn't there. If you're
Yeah.
that quick to threaten us, I don't feel like we're building on sand. So we were like,
Yeah.
you know what, if we're gonna restart again, it's time to just do it under our own thing. We helped
Yeah.
these two startups, did all the paperwork, did all the processes, found all the contractors, found the sales guys, trained the sales guys. And so we were like, all right, we're just gonna do it for ourselves. So that's really what started that in 2020.
All right. So what did those early days look like? Because 2020 was not the best year for door-to-door sales.
No, it wasn't. It
Maybe
was
in
not.
Texas, but like people here in Minnesota were like, mask up and get away from me, like,
Yeah. So in
so
Texas, it was a lot different, actually. Everyone was scared and was shutting doors, but I think that our business actually took off in 2020. Like, I think that was the best year that you could start a door to door business, especially here in Texas. Texas is a little bit more laid back and they're not
yep.
fearful of masks and diseases and all that, and sicknesses. And so, everyone was so excited when we knocked on their door. It was a different reaction than what you would expect, for sure.
Yeah,
People are like, home
definitely.
improvements. I've been putting off all this stuff. Like now I'm at home and now I'm bored and I want to have some interaction. So it was a different interaction at the door. It wasn't what you would have expected. We were
Yeah.
definitely nervous when we opened up in 2020. We were like everything in the news, right? Like don't watch the news because the news had everyone scared to come outside. And when you turn the TV off and you go outside, people were so excited to have human interaction.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the opposite.
What were some of the early surprises of the new venture of launching Miller Storm?
Oh my goodness. Being the boss is hard. You can't be everyone's friend. You're wearing all the hats. You don't really realize everything that it takes to put a roof on. Like from the sales rep mentality when we first got into it, it's like, oh, well, we're going to order the material and pay for the crew and we're going to keep all the money and it's going to be so easy. And you don't see all the warranty calls that happen when it rains and all the nails that, the homeowner's fine and going through the crappy subcontractors and entitled sales reps. And it's like, wow, this is not as easy as we thought it was going to be. It was definitely a challenge.
Yeah. So, the first thing that you said was being the boss is hard. And I think this is what a lot of people don't understand is that, so all businesses are people. And so, when you're an owner of a business now, all of a sudden you're a manager of people and you're in charge of all of these things. And it really all lands on you. What has been your journey in developing that skill set?
I've definitely come a long way as a leader. Back then, I rolled with the iron fist. No one wants that type of leader. It was like with leadership, there's this like happy medium. You have to be like what Jay likes to say is compassion and compression. I was worried that if I was too nice, people were going to take advantage of me. So I was either too nice or too hard. And I had a hard time finding the balance of being empathetic, but having firm boundaries. Like I didn't realize how much I struggled with boundaries. I either was super firm on my boundaries or I was super loose and I ended up, that was the biggest thing as a leader.
Yeah. What were some of the boundaries that you found hard to put up? And what were some of the ones that you're like, yeah, that was easy. Like I'll put up a boundary here, but this one over here is a little bit hard. Or was it person to person? It
was person to person.
Okay.
Person to person.
So there was an inconsistency in your management at the same time, right? Like this person got treated this way and this other person got treated this way. And now it's like, little bit of chaos involved, right? Like there's
Yeah,
a little bit of,
I shied away from super dominant personalities because I was like, man, I feel like if I
mm,
correct them, it's gonna get super, you know, dramatic, and I didn't want that. So I either just shied away from it, or I would be like
mm,
super, I guess, dominant or strong on where I stood. And I didn't really know it made me work on my communication for sure.
mm. What did you like? How did you work on your communication? Was it books? Did you go like take classes? Did you just
Oh,
practice? Like what was your process of improving your communication skills?
definitely books and podcasts. Definitely books and podcasts. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. The other
Mm,
one was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
mhm.
The Layla Ramosi podcast. And really, it's kind of silly to say this, but every time I'd have this like weird conversation that was coming up, I was like, I don't really know how to have this conversation with someone. I'd literally YouTube it, Google it, like how to have a conversation about this topic with an employee. Like,
Yeah.
it's and like just figuring out like the framing and the book I wish I would have read back then that I'm reading right now is Never Split the Difference.
Oh yeah.
Such a great book.
Yep. Chris
That book,
Voss. Yeah.
yeah, such a great book, like Negotiating with Terrorists. Because sometimes I feel like back then, the employees that we attracted, was a reflection of our weak leadership, I would say. We were
Mm,
just in our insecurities of being new business owners. But back then, I could say it felt like a lot of time I was negotiating with terrorists, and that's probably because of my avoidance of having tough conversations.
yeah. That's super interesting. That's a super self-aware thing that you said. The employees we attracted,
Yeah.
right? Like, wow, that's a big aware. Like that was a big aha moment. I would assume. When along the journey did you go, this is us? Like
Mhm.
we don't have the skill set to attract or the culture to attract A players or 10 Xers or whatever you'd want to call like really good people to the business. Where was that? Where did you guys where did you go? Did you have conversations with Jay? Like, oh my goodness, man, like what's going on? How come these are the people that are in our company? Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? Visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today. Oh my goodness, man. Like what's going on? How come these are the people that are in our company? How did that
Yeah.
process go? Yeah.
It was a lot of fights between me and Jay because, we had to be honest with each other and,
You did. Yeah.
and it's like this, he would say things that hurt my feelings, but it was the truth. It hurt my feelings because it was the truth. Right. And I would
Yeah.
say things to him that hurt him, but it was the truth. And it's like, it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but it's kind of like dating, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to like in the beginning, you're not bad. You're not good at dating. You're probably dating the wrong people or attracting the bad people. I'll speak for myself. In college, I dated like this really bad guy. And I remember my counselor being like, have you like looked into why this is the second guy you attracted like this? Like, have you looked into why you keep attracting these certain like personalities? And I was like, interesting. And that question has always stuck with me. And so like anytime like something happens, it's like instead of blaming like the other person or the situation or I'm a victim, like, no, you're not a victim. You got to figure out why this keeps happening. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you allowing? Because sometimes it's not, it's like not what you're saying. Sometimes it's what you're not saying. Right. So like not having the confidence, not giving them the feedback, not giving them, constructive feedback. So I think being new in business was kind of like being new to dating. We were like, we don't know what a successful business looks like operationally. Like
Yeah.
we knew what a successful business looked like for sales reps to show up to, like what got us inspired. What did we like when we went to other companies? But we never saw the back end operations. This was our first business to wear all the hats. So there was a lot of insecurity. We're like, is this supposed to happen? Humans aren't perfect, but at the same time, this is a business and there has to be a standard. So we always were like second guessing ourselves, like, you know,
Because you're
or,
learning. And that's what I
yeah.
think a lot of people don't give themselves grace in
Hmm.
the learning period, right? Like we have to give ourselves grace that we just like a lot of times this is new.
Hmm.
We're inexperienced in a lot of things. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice and a lot of reps, not just sales reps, but you may have to go through a lot of sales reps to know how to find a good sales rep or what is a good sales rep or what is a good sales rep to your company. But you just need the practice, the reps of, like how many, the number of jobs that have gone through your production process now, you're like, oh, we have to fix this, we have to fix this, we have to tweak this, we have to do that, right? But I like to say it like you don't know what's broken until things are going through it. Like you don't know what a from a sales rep perspective, what am I saying wrong? Well, you have to say the words to a prospective customer to learn and get that feedback to know if you're saying the right thing or not. If if how to hire subcontractors, good subcontractors, how to manage good subcontractors, right? Like there's so many things that you don't think about. What were some of those operational foundations that you've put in place over time that have really made the strongest impact?
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Automations, systems and processes, telling departments what you like, knowing what you want out of people and what you expect out of them, I think is the most important. And so they know what fires they're responsible for putting out. Like not everything's an emergency. Like figuring out what's priority right now or what's priority for that department, and like separating and delegating the responsibilities and who is responsible for what, and having like a smooth handoff from one department to the next.
So
And
how have you guys implemented that? Like how do you determine what's a fire and what's not a fire? Let's start there. What are some examples?
mm, is this something that has to get done right now, or is this something that can be put off till tomorrow? If it's not like a right now thing, it's not a fire. If someone's not going to get hurt, we're not going to get sued, if if it's not going to cost a lot of money, I would say those three things, like financial, welfare. Those are my big things. Like like is someone okay, and or is it going to cost a lot of money? Like is someone hurt, and is it going to cost a lot of money? Like other than that, it's a slow burning fire. We'll figure that out tomorrow.
There
Or
you
add
go.
that, or write down also like writing down like small issues as they come up, and then like let's talk all about it at once. Like let's not keep interrupting your workday, my workday, to talk about these like issues that you might think is a big deal, but to me it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So
That's a good management tip right there. Like, when if your team comes to you with every little thing, how do you get it? How do you get what you're getting done need to get done during the day, right?
yeah.
Like if they so I like that compartmentalizing it and saying, hey, we'll have a conversation at a specific time about that. Let's have the whole conversation, not just each aspect of it. Um,
And I think
what?
that gets fixed with like weekly meetings. I realize the more meetings we have, the quicker the feedback gets to us, and then people feel confident holding on to information until like, oh well, we're going to talk Mondays or we're going to talk Wednesday. Whenever that scheduled weekly meeting is, they're like, oh, I'm going to talk to her in a couple of days. That can wait till then, And then also, attracting, right, like the office managers and the people that we have here that we attract now. They're very independent thinkers, problem solvers, and 9 times out of 10, they'll fix the problem before I even hear about it.
Yes, yes.
So
I had a conversation with someone yesterday about this, and we a company that I coach, and I said, we were having a conversation, and he's talking about kind of more of a, like, do I need a general manager role, operations manager kind of person in my business? And we started talking, and I was like, well, let's walk through where the breakdown in ownership is. Because what I heard from you is that you have a team that owns things. And that's when people own their role, they get things done, and they come and tell you that things are done. Instead of, here's the problem, solve my problem for me, right? And so we had a conversation of like, where is the ownership breaking down in your company, in your team, versus like, do you really need someone else to manage them? Do you need to add another layer of management to this to babysit these people? Or is it that, no, it's just these people over here aren't owning their role the way that they should?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I'm so glad that you said that, because that just sparked something. This is something, looking back, the reason why people came and asked me a million questions, or asked Jay a million questions on every time they ran into something, is because I didn't empower them. So, back then I would walk up, and if they were handling something or doing something, I'm like, why are you doing it that way? Right. And that's not how you approach that. Oh, that looks like that's a great idea how you're doing that. I'm glad that you handled it that way. Next time you should probably maybe do it this way or that way. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, encouraging that, and like, we're like applauding them fixing the problem, and at least jumping in and trying to do it. But I think back then, like a leadership era that we used to do, is we used to be so critical. Like, why are you doing it this way? You should do it this way. You shouldn't do that way. You should do it this way. So then it trained them, right, to now every time they run into a problem, they're like, let me just go ask them. They probably have a better idea. And it's like, no, like so that's something else, is like relinquishing control, right? Like, if you want growth, you got to relinquish control. As long as they're doing it 80% the way that you would want them to do it, it's good. You just let them do it. It's never going to be the way you want to do it. Everyone's different. Everyone's brain works different. What I think is great, someone else might think is not. What they think is great, I might not completely agree with. But that's one thing that I've taken away. Is this 80% the way that I would have done it? Yeah. Absolutely. So
where's the balance there in your like SOPs then? Like, because how rigid do you develop your SOPs? Because if what I'm hearing is, if you allow them some autonomy in their role, but you still want it confined to a specific process, you want that communication handoff the correct way, and you want things like that. So how do you balance that? How do you think about that? Like, when you balancing their autonomy in getting the job done, but also doing the process the way that you would like them to do it.
I have two really good examples that I'll share with you. So one of them is, like, we knew that every time we showed up to a customer's house, we wanted them to leave them with a photo report or some type of report saying, hey, we were there and this is what we found. With photo documents, so they can see what's going on. Because, here in Texas, and probably roofing companies across the nation, some of them, or a lot of them here that I saw, they weren't leaving photo reports. They weren't leaving any type of documentation. They would get on the roof. Oh, you're good. Wait till next season, like storm season, and the homeowner never got anything. And that's how we were actually able to steal a lot of businesses, by offering those photo reports. Well, anyway, I had one of our inside sales guys look at the photo reports that we're sending, and he goes, "Man, like, I love that idea. I think they could be better." So instead of coming and saying, hey, I think they could be better, he went and made the presentation better, and then brought it to me. I was like, absolutely love it. Same thing with commission reports. Leah was awesome. She was like, hey, like, instead of doing each individual commission report, we should just do one mass Excel sheet. Made it look awesome. Brought it to me. Absolutely loved it. So they're still sticking to the SOPs, but it's like, how can I make this process better? Either more efficient, more beautified, I would say, right? Like, on the eyes, on the photo reports, like, he made them look way better, way more creative. So they're still sticking to the SOPs, just like making things better. Like, when they go through, and those SOPs, right? Like, they're good. SOPs are kind of like a living document. They should always be,
Yeah.
they're a living document. You should always be updating them, figuring out better ways. Like, now, my SOPs a year ago are completely different now because I found out all these cool automations where it literally, task them like this is where this is, so they don't have to go look for it. Like my project manager's SOPs are different, my back office SOPs are different because now they're getting tasked and reminded like automatically as soon as the job hits a certain milestone, so they don't have to go like daily look through there. So I think with time, you feel like you always find a better way to do something.
Yeah.
Your SOPs are kind of like just a guiding, like a compass.
I agree. Like the living document statement is one that I use too. Like all of they're living documents. They're not, you don't build an SOP one time. It constantly evolves. In that evolution, how do you determine what to fix next? I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. As a roofing marketing agency owner and coach, I've seen it all. Great marketing wasted because no one follows up fast enough. That's why I built Power Up Agents, not just a receptionist. Our AI handles the entire customer journey, from answering the first call to booking the job to post-job surveys and reviews. 24/7, inbound, outbound, even multilingual. If you want leads followed up instantly and customers nurtured automatically, visit the link in the description or visit the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. Your full AI team is ready. How do you determine what to fix next?
It's just going to save our company time. That's my biggest thing. Time. Like time is the most expensive resource. So time and communication, like those are my two biggest things. Like, is this going to improve the communication inside the organization? Is this going to improve the communication to our homeowners? Is this going to improve the communication to the insurance companies, to the warranty, with we use Atlas, and then time. How quick is this? How much time are we going to save by doing this new process? So
that's
those
awesome.
Are my things.
Yeah. What are some examples of ones that you've implemented recently? I know you said, automation save time. So that's always a big one. What are some of the communication processes that you've put in place that you've seen real impact around?
Yeah, I would have to praise on the automations because
they go together.
Yeah, communication, because there's communications that are happening inside the automation. So like it looks like the message is coming from Aaliyah, but it's actually an automation. Like, hey, production, please look at this job, make sure all the invoices are read.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. It's keeping the guys organized, putting everything in the CRM, putting the task on the automated task. The automated emails that go out to the homeowner is actually, that is the answer. The automations that are getting sent to the client on, hey, your roof is scheduled for this day of install. And then the reminder automation on, hey, your roof's getting installed tomorrow. Those are the biggest ones. Communication to the customer, because then they can never say, I didn't know, I couldn't plan for this. I wasn't aware that they're going to get here at 6:30 in the morning. So I think communication to the homeowner you're always going to win on that front.
Yeah, and automating it is the best way. Have you found that, is it emails, text? Is it like an automated task for your team to call? What have you found as being some of the better ways of communicating with your homeowners?
I say email, but I haven't turned on the text automation in AccuLinks. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm like, it's super expensive, and I just don't want that to get abused.
Yeah, really. So the emails have been effective enough where people are opening their emails and they're seeing, you don't get a call like, hey, why are these guys here at 6:30? The email was sent, the email was opened. The message is getting across.
Yeah, I love the emails. I mean, the one thing that we have implemented is even our QuickBooks are getting those invoices are getting texted to the homeowner now. Um, so I know that that's working better. I know that more people are paying on text message. So I would
Okay.
probably, if I turned on text message AccuLinks, it would probably be a way better outcome.
Yeah.
Don't know if I want that.
Yeah. It's like people do open text messages more than emails a lot of times because we have our phones in our hands way too often, right? Like it's just right there. I saw you had the watch on the Apple Watch or whatever, right? Like you're always getting your notifications, new text, but it's expensive. So it's a cost thing, right? Especially as you guys are growing. What's the goal this year? How many sales reps? How many jobs are you guys trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Because you've decided to go big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So last year we had, the Round Rock office and the Fort Worth office. Between both branches, we did 505 roofs. This year, our goal is to do 1,000 roofs. Our goal is to do 20 million. We did 10 million, 10 or 12, 11, somewhere between there last year in revenue. And we were wanting to get to 20. I think that's super achievable, especially since we opened up our commercial department. We have some really big heavy hitters that came from a $300 million commercial roofing company that's helping us do our commercial here, which is a great, exciting thing because we've always had so many commercial jobs come across our desk, but just, you heard the horror stories about residential roofing companies, going out of business because they did one bad commercial roof because they're not, stepped out of the wheelhouse. And so I'm really excited about that. But that's our goal. We do want to eventually open a branch in San Antonio, Houston. Yeah, that's our goal. We definitely do want to go big, though.
Yeah. What have been the operational challenges in adding the commercial division?
Commercial division, we haven't really had that many hiccups yet. I mean, that's what happens. Though. It goes back to attracting A players because if you attract A players, it's not as much work as you need to. Like you're hiring people for them to. That's their problem. You know what I mean? Yes, it's my problem too. But when they are, an A player and they come with that expectations and communication up front on the initial agreement and conversation, saves you time again, right? Like attracting A players and not, when people try to cut corners and go cheap and, if I would have found someone with no experience, I would have been way more involved in that. But he's hiring all this guys. He has all the crews. He has all the connections. So it's really a plug and play. I don't see any issues right now. We have a lot of stuff cooking up. I mean, it's only been 2 months since we started the commercial division. So you have to ask me again in like 6 months.
Yeah. There'll be things that come up, I'm sure, but the lesson there is ownership, right? Like, is that the person that you hired owns the role? They're taking ownership of all of that and taking it off your plate. Talk about some of those first hires and the difference in your hiring process now.
Sell the dream and don't get sold on the candidate. And what I mean by that, there's been a lot of candidates that come in here and talk a big game, And I realized like the talkers are not the showers for the most part. The good ones are the most humble guys. They're the guys that are going to come here and talk about how hard they're going to work, and they're not going to talk about how much they did in sales and how much money they made and how they're so awesome. And it's normally the humble ones that are the best candidates. But hiring, I think that's one of those things. It's kind of like dating. It's hard to tell you the secrets. It's just like go through it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Hiring is so weird to me because sometimes there's guys that come in here and I don't know, recruiting and hiring is still a little bit tricky for us.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think you really know if someone's a good candidate or not until they come in. I honestly, that's what I believe.
That's one of my favorite quotes, and I've said it on the podcast a million times, so people are probably getting sick of it, but it's a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk, and it's hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. Like
I love that. There is no
that's
secret.
all there. It's like you're just making your best guess possible. But on the other end, the things that I've learned over time is if you have the right metrics that you're tracking and you have the right, measurement of a cultural fit also, if it's definitive, not like you're making, like a judgment call on people on it, but if you have a definitive, and I think you guys might be running EOS now, like we run EOS, so you have the people analyzer, and it's do they fit with your with your core values, and do they get it, want it, and have the capacity to do it, like, and so it gives you a little bit of a more clear knowing, right?
Mhm.
Like you get to know in a much more clear way, because a lot of times we get emotional with, you know what I mean? Like someone has a story and it's like, oh, well, you didn't do that because, yeah, okay, I guess you didn't do that because, and, we get wrapped up in that, or we like them. And, I like the taking the feelings out is probably the best thing that you could do, because then, you get to the knowing faster, right? You make your best guess. Let's get to know as fast as possible. And if it's not it, I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors.
Stop going at it alone, because growing a roofing company today is not what it was like even 3 years ago. Not with the economy, not with private equity, not with AI taking over the world, and let's not forget insurance rewriting the rules. Join the community of roofers who don't really like roofers. We share our winning secrets to help each other dominate in today's fast-changing and unpredictable times. Click the link in the description to apply to join.
Make your best guess. Let's get to know as fast as possible. And if it's not it, you got to go.
I love that you said that. I absolutely love that you say that, because anytime that me, Jay, Naaman, anyone in management, anytime we're feeling some type of way about someone, we're like, all right, take the person out of it. For this role, what metrics, what expectations would we have out of this person? Okay, so I know that we're feeling this way towards this person, but let's go look at the numbers and let's be like, start this conversation with the numbers. Like, take the feelings out of it. Like, numbers don't lie. What's that saying? Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. So I was like, let's look at the numbers let's make data-driven decisions.
Yes. Making data-driven decisions. Speaking of data-driven decisions, going from a startup to, 10, 12, 20 million, there's a lot of differences in cash flow management. How have you implemented good cash flow management, financial management in the company as you've grown?
Spending less than you have coming in. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I guessed the first 5 years in business. I felt like I just guessed. I was like, I don't know, like, make sure we collect deposits and make sure we're making smart financial decisions, and we're not going and paying for a Lamborghini and going to Paris and buying Rolexes. I mean, Jay just bought his first Rolex last year. You see a lot of guys start a roofing company. It's like car, Rolex, vacation. and then and that's probably why they don't last past a year here in Texas most of the time. But, just, I don't know, stack it. We grew a lot very organically. And I was always pretty good with money management. And so I don't know. The biggest thing is knowing where your financials are. I think a lot of roofing companies get in trouble because they don't know where their financials are. Like, I have a team here that's calling on depreciation. We're sending off the mortgage check for the homeowner so we can track it, so we know it got sent, so the homeowner doesn't, because homeowners are busy. I'm a homeowner. I'm so busy. Like, when I get home, I don't want to talk about my personal stuff. I don't even want to open my mail half the time. So I'm like, I think just knowing where your financials are, making it the more convenient you make it for the homeowner, the quicker you're going to get paid. So I figured, opening up credit card processing, Zelle, ACH, the slice financing that we offer, so they can just keep the insurance money and finance the whole roof so we get paid quicker.
Yeah.
You know, your cycle time on picking up the money is like the biggest thing that we focus on here.
Nice. Getting the cash in back to the business as fast as possible, because it's all insurance, mostly insurance claims. I would assume that you guys are working down there in the DFW, Austin, things like that. So, what about like, it sounds like you've developed more, consistency with customers, customer communication, customer experience. What other things are you guys doing from the sales perspective, from the operations perspective, to impress the customer, to maybe have them potentially refer you, or when the next storm comes in, they know who to call?
I would just say over communication. Every time we send a supplement out, they get CC'd on it. Every time we send a final invoice, they get CC'd on it. Every time we file their warranty, they're getting a CC on it. If your homeowner's reaching out to you for an update, that's the number one red flag. Your homeowner should never be asking you for an update. You should be telling them every week. They should never have a question on where they stand, what this means. I think setting expectations from the get-go, and then communicating with them every step of the way. So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? How do you think culture and communication go hand in hand in Miller Storms?
Your guys need to know. Well, you have to know their love language, and you have to know what they're expecting of you and what you're expecting of them. So here it's like with our core values, it's like, do what you say, right? Like if you tell a homeowner you're going to be there at a certain time, be there. If you're going to be at the meeting, be there. Our meetings aren't mandatory, but if you tell us like, hey, you're going to be here, then let us know because we're waiting around on you, And this is not one of our core values, even though we should probably make it one of our core values is speed. Like speed is one of our core values, and it's not like formally documented anywhere, but we're always like on speed, like moving the job along fast, like communicating with the homeowner fast, communicating with back office fast, giving our guys quick feedback, and then them also giving us quick feedback on what's going on in the field. If people are struggling with something, or if they're like, hey, we need like a team outing, just over communicating. Like you spend more time at work than you do with your family.
You do.
And so when you start feeling like things are a little bit too professional, too much about work, too transactional, I think you have to really rely on your leadership team to be like, hey, we need to take the guys on a team outing, or let's do something fun this, next month, or, so.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you guys do?
Oh, well, we do an annual boat party. So we're going to do our annual boat party here in about 2 weeks. We've gone paintballing. We've done the little drive the exotic cars. We take our guys to a conference once a year. We actually took our guys to Mexico, our $1 million producers. We took them to Mexico in January, which was a really cool experience. So, take them out to dinner, doing the team dinners, which we need to actually do one of those here soon. It's been a while, but weekend pool parties.
So you guys have fun too.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. Like everyone knows, like roofing is a lifestyle. I mean, sales really in general is a lifestyle. There's no off time, especially when you're a 1099 sales guy. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You're always selling or prospecting. So I think having that healthy work-life balance, I know balance is like a word that people don't like, right? But what my version of balance is like, not every day is going to be like this. Some days are going to be all work, and then some days are going to be all family. But when you average every day out in the year, it's 50-50. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So people think that when people say balance, it's like, oh, every day is balanced. No.
Yeah.
Some days I'm working 12, 14-hour shifts, and then maybe I take off on Friday,
That's right. So, I don't believe in balance at all. I'm way off of balance.
I honestly don't believe in balance. But when you look on a 365 rolling schedule, there's balance. You have to have it. There is balance. Even if you don't like to admit it, there is balance.
What do you think? What do you think people should know more? Like, because you guys have gone through the journey, right? Like you said, you went through this, like the opening of a company yourselves. What's one thing more people should understand about running a roofing company?
Man, there's cash flow. I mean, it's probably like any business, right? You have to make sure you have the right people in the right seats. Don't try to wear all the hats because you don't want to spend the money on overhead to get people. I think a lot of people here in Texas, I mean, like the checking a truck type of guys, they think that they're going to go start their own so they can keep all the money. And it's like, yeah, but then, how long are you going to do that for?
Yeah.
That's pretty lonely. That's not what the lifestyle I like. I like to work with people. I like having a team. I like, I think to open a true legit business in Texas that you're going to have to put people in the right seats, have to manage cash flow if you're going to do it organically like me and Jay did. Like we flipped $5,000 and now here we are,
That's right.
another company. But really disciplined on delayed gratification, sacrificing. Yeah.
Delayed gratification is a big one that people have, that people struggle with for sure. It's a tough one. It's tough when you look in the bank account and you're like, oh, there's money there. Like, no, it's not yours yet.
Yeah.
It's not yours yet.
Do you want to look rich now or do you really want to be rich like in 20 years?
That's right.
It's don't exchange that money for short term,
gratification.
Happiness. Yeah. Short term gratification. It's a long term vision.
What are you most proud of when you reflect on what you guys have built?
How much personal growth? I mean, it's like, the vanity of like the revenue and all that's cool. Like, that's not really like it. To me, it's like how much I've developed as a leader, helped other people grow. Like we're really like a personal development / life coach company. Like people have come in here, made money, got their credit card. Like when my sister came up here, I'm going to use her as an example. She was a completely different person. She didn't believe in herself, self-doubt, didn't have a reliable vehicle, didn't know what a credit score was, didn't know what a credit card was. And to literally see her transform her life like many others here have, many people here have. She got her dream truck. She got her, her dream house. She got, for people to write those, achieve their goals is the most gratifying thing. That's better than making money and putting it in my bank account. Is seeing other people happy and their kids happy and them making the most amount of money that they've ever made and being in the best shape of their life and being positive. And, that's the biggest thing that I am happy for is how many people's lives we've changed and are going to change.
That's awesome. Appreciate your time today, Taylor. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.